We have tons of NHL breaking news, all kinds of big signings, including some players staying with their existing clubs. This video is going to look at Logan Stankoven's extension with the Carolina Hurricanes, Jake Allen staying in New Jersey, Brock Boeser ended up staying in Vancouver after all. Plus, we have some other UFA signings, including players like Christian Dvorak, Vladislav Gavrikov, Connor Brown, Michael Pizzetta, and a few others coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have all kinds of signings to discuss, and there's another trade, at least one, or probably will be more today, but we know of one that's in the mix. Right now, as I record this video, there's speculation that K'Andre Miller is in the midst of being traded from the Rangers to the Carolina Hurricanes, mainly because the Rangers have just signed Gavrikov to a 7-year contract at $7 million. So Gavrikov goes from LA to the Rangers on a 7x7. The Rangers want to change up their blue line, and after getting Gavrikov, they're trading Miller, which has been rumored for some time that Miller was likely getting traded this summer. So we don't know the full return there. I'll do another video talking about that trade once that's been confirmed. But Gavrikov, the top defensive defenseman here on the open market, and really after guys like Ivan Provorov and Ekblad and all those guys stayed put, just really opened the market for Gavrikov. But clearly he wanted to go to the Rangers, and I wonder how long this is something he's wanted to do, because he's getting a better contract than Ivan Provorov in Columbus, which is, you know, I personally don't think there's any debate on who the better defenseman is. But Gavrikov goes to the Rangers. That's a big addition for them. Logan Stankoven signs a big extension with the Canes. A great fit there after the trade, landing him there from the Dallas Stars. 8-year contract, $6 million per season. That's a fantastic deal for the Hurricanes. To be honest, if I was Stankoven, I probably would have waited, because the way he's played there, I would expect probably next year a potential big breakout year, and he could have probably signed for more. But obviously the security is something that a lot of players want. They also, with the CBA changing and the contract lengths changing for this time next summer, that's also encouraging players, if you want that extra year, to get it now before the rules change. So Stankoven stays in Carolina on a long-term extension. Jake Allen would have been the top free agent goaltender, except he didn't quite make it there. The Devils decided that they weren't bringing up a young goalie to back up Jacob Markstrom. They liked their tandem too much and figured out a way to keep the veteran netminder in New Jersey. 5-year deal at $1.8 million. The 5 years was rumored before, but I thought it was going to be more money. Essentially, this is not the same as what we saw Florida do with Marchand, but it's kind of along the same lines, where they basically gave him the money that he would have gotten on a 3 or 4 year deal and stretched it out a little bit. Jake Allen will be 35 this summer. It's not quite the same idea as Marchand because he's a different age. So this will take Jake to the contract will expire when he's 39. He would turn 40 for the next season if he continued playing. So it's not anywhere near that level of age for Marchand, but $1.8 million, so $9 million here in total. I think for Jake, I know he liked being in New Jersey. I know from a family standpoint, he's got a young family, multiple young kids here, like, to not have to move and to get that stability to probably finish out his career in a team that's competitive and they enjoyed being a part of after being traded from Montreal, I think was huge for him. This is more about family stability and finishing out his career, not having to move again and being on a good team. So, like, I know there was other teams interested, but clearly this was not all about money for Jake. So good, great deal to keep him there for that kind of money. Daniil Tarasov, of course, was acquired from Columbus to the Florida Panthers, will be the new backup to Sergei Bobrovsky next year. He was an RFA, and he signs a 1-year deal at $1.05 million. The Sabres have signed defenseman Ryan Johnson, a 3-year deal at league minimum $775. Brock Boeser stays in Vancouver. That's probably one of the biggest shockers. Most people thought for sure that the writing was on the wall. He was on his way out of town. We know negotiations did not go well during the season, and the Canucks even tried to trade him as well, and they had a hard time getting anything they liked on the trade market. So it sounded like there was a lot of hurt feelings there, but it just goes to show that Brock really loves being in Vancouver and really didn't want to leave. So he signs a 7-year contract at $7.25 million. And based on what was rumored on the market and how crazy the contracts are looking for the lack of UFAs that are high quality, I think he definitely left some money on the table to stay. I think he could have gotten 8 to 9 for sure elsewhere, and there was definitely at least a half dozen teams that were anxious to try to get a deal with him. So clearly Boeser staying in Vancouver is great for them and sucks for everybody else that was trying to get him. Dan Vladar's leaving the Calgary Flames. He's signing a 2-year deal with the Flyers, 2 years at $3.35. So just goes to show you that obviously, like, that's how much of a discount Jake Allen took to stay in New Jersey, because Vladar getting that much more, it just shows you where the market's at. There's not a lot of great goaltenders out there for some of the teams that really need one, and the Flyers probably had to overpay here. But Vladar, $3.35 million. They also brought in Noah Juleson on a 1-year deal, league minimum, and they're also bringing in Christian Dvorak, formerly now the Montreal Canadiens. This goes to show you what the centermen are getting because of the lack of options on the market. He's actually getting $5.4 million. It's only for 1 year, though. So if the Flyers continue to be a non-playoff team, he could be a good trade chip at the deadline. Cap goes up next year. If he has a half-decent year, maybe he'll cash in and do a longer-term deal at that point. But for that kind of money for Dvorak, I know some teams were interested to sign him to be like a fourth line center or something, but I mean, he's obviously not going to be doing that for that kind of money in Philadelphia. The Sharks have extended young forward William Eklund on a 3-year contract at $5.6 million. I think that's a pretty good contract. William Eklund projects to be a real good player for them, and that's a pretty good second contract. They'll bridge him for now, and with the cap going up in 3 years, he should be able to lock in bigger money deal at that time. So pretty good deal all around for both sides there. The Lightning are bringing back Gage Goncalves, 2 years at $1.2 million. Parker Kelly extends in Colorado, sorry, not Vancouver, Colorado. Parker Kelly, 4 years at $1.7 million. I know they really valued Parker Kelly after he arrived there last year. He was a pretty good fourth liner, pretty good forechecker, really works his tail off. He's a smaller player, but he does not play like it, and it's been a good fit there. So good on him to get that kind of money. The LA Kings are getting Corey Perry. The exodus out of Edmonton continues. I don't know what's going on, what Edmonton's going to look like next year, but Perry's getting a 1-year bonus laden deal with a total value of $3.5 million out of LA. Of course, Ken Holland, the GM there, knows, he had a role in bringing Perry to Edmonton in the first place last year. Yeah, you can't beat the Oilers. You take some pieces from them, I guess, right? Yoel Armia, also formerly now of the Montreal Canadiens, signs a 2-year deal with Los Angeles. I have not been able to nail down the AAV on that one here just yet. The Toronto Maple Leafs are signing Michael Pezzetta, now formerly of the Montreal Canadiens as well. He gets a 2-year contract. The first year's league minimum $775. The second year's at $800K. So Pezzetta goes from Montreal to Toronto. Connor Brown, also another exodus out of Edmonton. It continues. He goes to New Jersey on a 4-year contract with $3 million per season. Connor Brown should be a good fit in New Jersey. Obviously a great skater, good speed. Good penalty killer, a bit of offensive upside as well. So I think he should fit somewhere in the middle part of the Devils lineup. Another smaller signing as well. The Sharks have brought back Colin White on a 1-year 2-way deal. And Tanner Jeannot leaves the Kings in free agency. It's not a huge surprise. There was believed to be probably 5 or 6 teams interested in Jeannot, including Ottawa, which I know was one of the teams looking at him for their fourth line, but they never would have paid this. He got a 5-year deal with Boston, $17 million in total, $3.4 million. That's too much money for Tanner Jeannot. That's too much term. He had a really good year in Nashville when he first came up, and it's really been downhill since. Like, yes, he can be physical, he can fight, but he's only been averaging like 6 or 7 goals. I suspect they kind of look at him maybe being a replacement for Trent Frederick, but I don't know. Jeannot, for that kind of money, I think that's an overspend big time there by Boston, but we'll see. Like I mentioned, the Keandre Miller trade is getting closer to being finalized, and I'm sure a bunch more signings have probably taken place since I hit the record button here. So we'll be back later with more news. Stay tuned. Of course, we'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.